Atari Pac-Man into your Atari video computer system, and you're playing the hottest game since Space Invaders, Atari Pac-Man.
I got Pac-Man fever. It's driving me crazy. I got Pac-Man fever. I'm going out of my...
Hate to eat and run.
Pac-Man by Atari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, finally, welcome back to the amazing Atari Aficionado. So, I first just want to say that I apologize for such a long gap and delay in when the episodes ended, and obviously when this one finally gets uploaded onto YouTube. That being said, the last time an Atari episode was uploaded was October of 2017. I believe it was October 17th. So it's been almost a year since, because it's now it's almost May. This will probably be, this is being recorded April 29th. However, this may not actually make it onto the interwebs until some point in May. But that being said, I know I originally stated that I wasn't going to do seasons, but because of there being such a gap in between the last recording and this recording, this is officially the beginning of Season 2 then. So hopefully I can continue to release these consecutively for the time being and knock out these episodes. Aside from that, another big thing was I noticed a lot of the Atari episodes were longer. Some of them were like 20 minutes, some of them were 17 minutes. So I'm hoping to try and condense that and maybe do half of that just to make them a little bit more interesting. Because I don't want to bore you guys by, showing you stuff for 20 minutes or, 18 minutes or 19 minutes. So hopefully this episode can be condensed. Also, I have a new theme song as well as a new intro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the theme. As well, it is actually music from an Atari game, which is Pitfall 2, The Lost Caverns, which I have. And I did show this before, but I figured I would just bring it up. I enjoyed this game so much, and it's so cool that an Atari game actually has music in it, because most Atari games actually don't have music in them. So it's pretty wild. Obviously, I have this in box. No manual, unfortunately, but hopefully maybe I'll get lucky and find that out in the wild one day. But yes, this is David Crane's Pitfall 2 by Activision. Great follow-up to the great Pitfall game. So that's pretty much all of the updates. And I guess I'll jump into the next big update. So you guys have been following Season 1. I know it's been a while. So hopefully for those that may have not seen Season 1 or didn't see any of those episodes from last year, essentially, do yourself a favor, go back. I'll try to start reposting some of those and hopefully maybe get some more engagement. But for the people and guys and gals, of course, that do remember, my quest has almost been completed to own every single Atari console out there. Now, of course, the Jaguar is going to be an incredibly difficult one to come across because of the price range and just the rarity of it. But outside of the 90s, I'm pretty much going for a complete Atari console set, from the late 70s through the 80s. And so far, if you have been keeping track or haven't been, I'll just refresh your memory. I have a model, so there was essentially 4 versions of the original 2600. You had your 4-switcher, then of course you had your 2-switcher wood panel model, which I have that. You had your 2-switcher Vader model, which was all black. And then, of course, you had your junior model, which is the small mini one, which you guys might have seen that before. Well, the quest for the 2600s has finally been acquired, has been accomplished, and I have acquired the super heavy, ridiculous 4-switcher Atari system. So this was a big one. I still needed to add this to my collection. So I now own a 4-switcher system where the power plug and the cords are right next to each other on the back, whereas on later systems they moved them higher up. Obviously, 2 of these switches would get moved back here, like little knobs, little ports. And I don't know, I like the 6-switcher so much better. It feels better. This one is in really good condition. It works really well. It's a little dusty because it's been sitting around because I haven't gotten a chance to record these episodes. But other than that, I mean, it's in great working shape. Cord, it's really good. Not too chewed up, not too messed up. A lot of times, these cords get pretty messed up over the years. It also came with a power plug. Once again, to refresh your memory, if you don't remember, I feel like every single time I come across an Atari power plug, it's different from earlier ones. This one is bright gray, and then on the other side of it, it's got information in regards to the plug as well as it says Atari on it. Really wild. Really crazy. I lucked out once again. I have about 3 or 4 different power plugs for the 2600s. Not entirely sure why. One cord came out the top, one cord came out the bottom. They would just do weird things. I don't know if that was because it was being produced in different places, in different states, maybe in different cities. But for whatever reason, there you go. I now have another alternate power plug. So this was huge. I knew I was going to eventually acquire this, so I do have it. Okay, so it's time to jump on into a bunch of recent pickups. I'm going to try my best not to talk about these games a whole lot so that this video isn't super long. So let's just start with this one. So as you can tell, it sounds like a cucaracha. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of plastic loose in this thing. I don't know what happened to it. Atari games are a real bitch to take apart because you have to peel off the label in order to get to the screws. So this one's probably going to be permanently loud. And of course, it's a title that you don't normally see, which is Picnic. Essentially, if I recall correctly, you use the paddle controllers and you ward off bugs that are trying to get to the picnic food. This is made by US Games. I don't have a whole lot of games from them. This is also a very strange looking cartridge, as you can tell. So very excited about that. Up next, I have Carnival. Strange that I don't have this already. I think I passed on this multiple times because I just knew that I would find a better version, and I just realized there's some dirt on it, so I need to get around to cleaning this. But yeah, Sega did make some cartridges. They did produce some games like they are now. So that's Carnival. Essentially, you're like on a seesaw, and it's kind of a weird game. Here I have Tron Deadly Discs. So this is one of the... I don't believe this is a Mattel game. This is made by Disney, actually. But they used one of the weird Intellivision-looking cartridges. As you all know, I've discussed this before. This is from 1982. And it says Singapore on the label. So... you don't see Singapore making carts all the time. Here I have 2 Atari 2600 silver arcade-based game carts here. Of course, Centipede and Joust. So later on in their lifespan, they did start making sort of like shiny re-releases of these, if I'm not mistaken. And this is actually an alternate Centipede cover. Of course, my mind's drawn a blank. I forget what the original one looks like. But the wizard, in this one, the kid looks really weird, and the centipede's like just super detailed, and the spider and everything. But very cool. And I've always loved Joust. I'm not a big fan of the game, but I just always love the look of the Joust cartridge. Centipede, you all know that game. I'm not going to talk about it. If you don't know Centipede, go play it right now. Getting back to these weird M Network games, as they're known. I finally got Super Challenge Baseball. Did not have that. Needed to pick that one up. And International Soccer. Did not have this and needed to pick that one up. So now I have those. Moving along here. Let's see here. I don't even know. I'm just grabbing whatever I can find. So here is a slightly rare one. This is an Activision game. I need to do a little bit more research on this, but at one point they started releasing blue labels. Some of their games had blue labels on them. Not entirely sure why, but there was a couple different carts of Enduro that were released, and this is the one that is blue, and you don't actually normally see this one around. So, and this is in great shape. This is another one of those carts. I just can't believe that this is... Well, not anymore, but but as I drop it, but it's just insane how good a condition that this is in. So somebody must have taken care of that. Bouncing over to 20th Century Fox. This is based on the movie Turmoil. I've watched a lot of movies, but I've never seen this movie, nor have I heard of it. This is a very interesting game. I believe the Game Chasers, Jay might have actually brought this game up in one of his recent, and I think it was the latest episode of the Game Chasers. Hopefully there's not an episode released by the time this is what, but anyway, the last episode I watched, which was the latest one now, this month, he does talk about Turmoil. You're in the center of the screen, you go up and down, and you're shooting things that are coming down the lanes, and if you look real close, there is a picture of the game footage right on the cart. This is a great, great game. Totally recommend it if you can find it. Here is Strawberry Shortcake, which I did have already, and it was the label was messed up on it. Shout out to Scott if you're watching. So I needed to get a better looking label. This is just a musical game. It's very strange, but now I have a much better looking one. This is by Parker Brothers. So that is pretty cool. And then speaking of blue labels, another Activision game. This is Kaboom. We all know Kaboom, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. But I now own the blue label of Kaboom. So there you go. Now up next, this is really funny because this is probably one of the earliest Atari games that I remember talking about with this series. But the Imagic, the ever elusive, crazy looking Imagic games, they look like little spaceships. This is Dragonfire. I actually do own a couple versions of Dragonfire. There's a few different variants of it. So now this is just another variant that I own of this game. I do plan on doing a review of this at some point. So that is that. This game, I can't remember. I did play it, but I'm already drawing a blank. But I do plan on reviewing it. This is SpectraVision. Vision. This is Planet Patrol by SpectraVision, or SpectraVision is like just, I guess, the name. Oh yeah, that is the name of the. It's going to be hard for you to see the way it's black on black. Black text on a black background. The background is really weird too. But this is just the weirdest looking Atari cart I think I've ever seen. This is another reason why I love collecting for Atari, because you just never know what you're going to find. Just the weirdest looking stuff. Swinging back over to Parker Brothers, I finally got a good version of Frogger. I've come across this game a bazillion times, but every time I come across this game, the label is destroyed, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's like a group of people out there that are dedicated to destroying Frogger carts or Q*bert carts. If you are, please stop. But yeah, I finally got a good one, so I'm going to make sure to take care of that. Speaking of 20th Century Fox games, you guys, I think I had hinted at this before. I finally have the Porky's game. So that's very awesome. Obviously, a lot of you might have remember this from the Angry Video Game Nerd a couple years ago, did a review of this. I hope to do a review of this game at some point. So that is Porky's. Speaking of Parker Brothers, going back to Parker Brothers, here is Popeye. So I now own Popeye, very similar to Donkey Kong, of course. And this is based on the arcade version. So very, very cool. This game is by Apollo. So I now have another, I guess, producer of games that I've never talked about before. And this is Lost Luggage. And if any of you are fans of Classic Game Room with Mark Busler, he did a really, really, really good review of Lost Luggage. So check that out. But obviously, another great game. Basically, you're just moving at the bottom of the screen collecting luggage. But I just love that artwork on it. Very cool. Very detailed. So, very cool. Okay, and then up next, these two are some more newer producers, or not newer, but I've just never talked about them before. This is Data Age. Data Age. I have the games Airlock and Bermuda Triangle. So, very interesting. Once again, it's just, I've played all these games before, but it's hard to remember them because I've played like dozens upon, if not at this point, maybe hundreds of Atari games. So they all start to blend together. I definitely plan on talking about these games in a separate review at some point. It sucks that Bermuda Triangle has damage on it, but I've never seen this game before, and I was like, I gotta get it. Hopefully I can get a better label upgrade at some point, but if not, at least I can play it. But Airlock looks awesome, looks like a scene from Tron, so there is that. Speaking of Q*bert, here is Q*bert. That is the best looking Q*bert I've actually ever found, even though it's still not that good looking. But I needed to get Q*bert. I kept passing on it. Hopefully I can find a better version, better looking version, maybe even a boxed version. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. At least I can play the game. And then rounding out the end here are more of these crazy RAM Plus games. These are made by CBS Electronics. And I have made jokes before in the past about the diarrhea brown tan color. They look like army rations. If you've ever seen any of those crazy army rations videos on YouTube where the guy opens up rations from like 60 years ago. These carts remind me of. By the way, if you haven't seen those videos, look them up right now. They're hilarious. But finish watching this one first. But I got Mountain King and Omega Race. And I don't remember these games at all. So I will definitely, I plan on going back and touching base on these. So two more. And then finally, the big one, which some of you might have remembered me teasing you guys before. I finally got Tiger Visions. Once again, another new producer of games that I have not discussed yet. This is Tiger Vision's King Kong. So I finally have King Kong. This is actually a pretty fun game. It's sort of a mixture of Donkey Kong and Pickaxe Pete, if you've ever played either of those. Most people have probably played Donkey Kong. Nobody has probably played Pickaxe Pete except me. I love Pickaxe Pete, by the way. But anyhow, this is incredible. I can't believe I was able to find this game. It's baby blue. It's super cool. I love it. So there you have it. All the way from, it looks like there is a date on here, 1982, Universal Studios. So there you have it, King Kong. So hopefully this video wasn't super long. Something tells me that it's going to be the normal length, but hopefully it was entertaining enough, and like I showed a bunch of cool stuff. If you guys have any questions about any of these games, I can definitely answer them in the comment section below. Otherwise, I'm just going to end it now. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more exciting Atari Aficionado content. See you later.
Quick, the Atari!
This is Pitfall from Activision for your Atari video computer system. Not just the most exciting jungle adventure ever, but a treasure hunt so long and dangerously real, it could almost be a plot to send you mad. So beware the pitfalls.
Ah! Pitfall, I presume.
Pitfall from Activision. Are you ready yet?